I'm Linda Sanders Colnett, a San Francisco artist, and we're here to talk about some lanterns that I've created. These lanterns, this one right here is one that I've done that's based on the I Ching. And it's based on the hexagrams. There are 64 hexagrams in the I Ching, which is the Chinese Book of Change. And it is something that's been used for divination purposes for thousands of years in China. And it's partially based on Taoism. So this one represents Earth, which is female energy. And of the 64, I've only done 8 so far. So, but they're all different. And I worked with a Chinese man who did the calligraphy, which is in here, and I did the representation of how I would interpret each one of these hexagrams. And while I was working on these, I was approached by a curator from the Triton Museum in Santa Clara, California, and she asked me to do something with lanterns that related to tea. She was doing a show called The Celebration of Tea. So that's how I got started on a different kind, and that is this one, which has tea leaves that have been printed on this backlit film, which is used for displays like you see maybe at a bus station or something like that. So what I've done with the ones that have their different ways that the tea is represented on here, and it's in different colors. So there's a choice of colors, and the way that the tea leaves fall is different on these. This is hexagram number 1, which is heaven. It represents male energy, force. I have added a little Western thing, the creation, and initiating. So this is all the different aspects of this first hexagram of the I Ching. So this one is called Difficulty at the Beginning. As you can see, this is about childbirth here. And these are some of the, well, it's hard to describe this, but anyway, this is the calligraphy for this particular hexagram. This is a different kind of calligraphy for it, and of course the English interpretation of it at the top. This one is called Multitude, and it refers to armies. So you can see here that I've used these the clay figures that they have in China that have been shown around the world. This one is called Childhood Folly and Concealed Wisdom. So this one has pictures of, these are characters that they're brothers and sisters and mother and father that are represented in the different aspects of I Ching. So here we are. This is the calligraphy for this particular one. This one is called Conflict. And here's a representation in calligraphy. And this is this is in the old days. This is a very ancient photograph from China of conflict resolution there. A judge's gavel here also. So these use energy efficient bulbs, and there's no danger of them catching on fire or anything like that. In fact, I have had some that were in a shop that were on 24 hours a day for weeks on end without any problems with them. So I know they're quite safe. They're also, they'll come, you know, in a box that they'll be shipped in a box that they should be just fine, and they have, they're really actually not fragile. They look a little bit fragile, but they're not. And we're looking here at a group of mixed media eggs. And they have, to me, I kind of jokingly call them existentialist. They represent, eggs represent the beginning of almost everything, you know, the embryonic beginning. And the other part of it, there are hands on here. these are actually my hands in these particular cases, are noses. And that's given a human essence to these. And part of my feeling about these is that man touches everything on earth. You know, there's no embryonic thing that starts without us being involved in it. So that's what I was thinking of when I was creating these. They're made out of, some of them are plaster, some of them are mixed media. This one, for instance, is plaster with paper mache. And they have a very kind of, they have a very tactile feeling to them. I think everybody kind of likes to touch them and hold them. There's some other ones over here. This one has a kind of a marble-like finish on it. So the process is that they're made out of plaster or paper mache. Some of them are painted and then waxed. So this one, for instance, is waxed, and you get a very different kind of finish no matter how you do it, because they all start differently. So, and here's another one over here. This one is this one has a more painted feeling to it in a way than the marbleized ones, but they all have different finishes to them, and they're very. Some of them are quite heavy, and they're something that you would put on a table, or they might go into an entryway that you walk through, or well, they could even be on the floor. So these can be purchased directly from the website. If there's a certain kind of feeling or color that you might need, I might be able to accommodate that within a certain range. But right now what you see here is, each one is individual, so they're never going to be repeated, but you can get an idea of the colors that I can get